Committee to order. It is 5:30 and we are on the Zoom because the Nashua School District is holding an emergency meeting pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, Section 8, and Emergency Order Number 12, Section 3 for this meeting. Present tonight, our alternative is Mrs. Giglio. Am I pronouncing that right, Sharon?
It's Giglio, but that's okay. I answer to anything.
Well, I apologize.
No, don't worry about it.
Ms. Timmons?
Here.
And Mrs. Oden?
Here.
And Mrs. Zeem. Also present with us is Mrs. Tara Kinsella, our wonderful administrator. We appreciate more than I can say. And I think that's all. So having gone through all of those niceties.
Miss O'Gara.
Oh, is she here?
Yes, Dana O'Gara. She's here.
Oh, I don't.
Also, Ms. Raymond, Dr. Andre, Dr. McKinney.
Oh, I'm not seeing any of those people on my screen. But thank you for, tell me who they are, Mrs. Raymond, so that everybody will know.
Oh, Dr. Andre, Dr. McKinney, Mr. Parker, Ms. O'Gara.
Okay.
Did I miss anybody else? I think that's it.
No, I think you got them all.
See, I don't see any of those on the screen. So somebody, before my next meeting, somebody will have to help me with that. So that having been said, the only meeting business that we have on the agenda are the personnel recommendations. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, or does somebody have a motion?
I have a motion.
Okay.
Okay, I move that we approve the human resources personnel recommendation dated on Monday, March 8th of 2021.
Can I get a second?
I have one question. I'm
Okay.
sorry. There was one on here. I'm looking for, I fell off my table. There was one position that was hired late for athletics, and I was wondering why. It looks like somebody was hired after the season was over, and I'm sure that wasn't the case.
I can answer that, Dottie.
Yes.
You're talking about number 6, the ice hockey. I guess he was, first he was volunteering, and then I think they lost an assistant coach, and so he didn't want the money for it because he was happy, but then he did, and so that's why it's late. It's kind of going back to fix him putting in all those hours.
Okay. Okay, I just didn't understand that. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
so having said that, did you second the motion, Dottie?
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any other questions, concerns, comments? Seeing none, I guess I'll just call everybody's name. Mrs. Timmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Oden,
Yes.
Mrs. Zeem says yes. So the 3 voting members are unanimous. And I'm assuming that Mrs. Giglio is also, even though she didn't vote. So we will see that. I will bring the motion to the full board in the next meeting. Having said that, can I just ask a quick question? How are we doing on the teachers, the teacher? Do we have a fixed number now of how many teachers we're going to be looking for? Did I miss that report somewhere, or is that coming later in another meeting? Did I confuse you, Dana?
Oh, you're asking me? Yeah, no, I think all the schools have made arrangements and have been creative. I think the 2 assistant superintendents could give a better report what's going on at the schools, but I think we're holding our own. We could use more staffing, but.
Okay. All right, thank you. I knew last time I heard it, they weren't real sure whether it was going to be a problem or not. And I just was hopeful that that it wasn't a problem. If there is, go ahead.
The good part is that everybody's starting to get vaccinated. And as they're vaccinated, they can work in person. So
Yes,
that's already happening.
I actually get my second vaccination next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Did you get yours, Mrs. Timmons?
Yes. Ms. O'Gara just mentioned that they are getting ready to get, the teachers are being vaccinated. Do we have a date for them, or is it how's that going to be set up as far as our staff getting vaccinated in the schools? Do you have any idea?
Dr. McKinney would love to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting news, Mrs. Timmons. I was going to share it at the full board meeting. I've been talking to public health. We'll be sending out information this week in hopes that we can get our folks vaccinated in about 2 weeks. So more good news to come. It's kind of
Yes.
exciting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If there's no, did
Ms.
you?
Ziem? Mrs.
Uh,
Ziem, I'd like to hear from our two assistant superintendents if they've had vacancies that they haven't been able to fill for classes, if they've been able to get substitutes. I'd like to have a little bit of information on that, or if we've been right on target along the way.
Well, and Dr. McKinney may have been going to answer that because he was starting to say something just as you said. So,
I'm
Dr.
sorry.
McKinney. No, it was this Zoom, you can't help it. Dr. McKinney.
Yeah, I was just going to share that we hired 38 people last month from February 1st to March 1st. So that includes secretaries, teachers, crossing guards, monitors, paras, custodians, secretaries, all through the lot. But in terms of classroom coverage and day-to-day operations, certainly defer to our two assistant superintendents at secondary and elementary.
I can't see them, so I don't know who wants to speak first.
Well, at secondary, I'll just jump in secondary. We did have some
Big kids
concerns.
Go first.
I'm sorry?
We'll let the big kids go first. Go ahead.
All right. We seem to be holding our own. Okay, we have, normal absences from day to day, but kids are not missing out, and that was the bottom line. The kids are getting what they needed, and they are.
That's a good line. Thank you. And Mr.
Andre,
Dr. Andre, thank you.
I can also echo Dr. McKinney's and Mr. Parker's comments. The elementary faculty and staff and administration have been doing a wonderful job. Our classrooms have been covered for the most part. Again, an absence here or there, but again, must commend the administration and our teachers and our faculty and staff for coming in and providing high quality instruction to our students. So it's been smooth, really smooth week. And I think this is the first week we had our 4th and 5th graders back in. So we're fully K through 12. So it's
I
been
bet they
really
were
nice.
glad, huh?
Yep.
That must have been wonderful to see.
Yep.
But always, when people ask me what's the strength of our district, it's staff. Always. I think we have the best staff in the state, but that's my personal opinion. Any other questions, comments, anything we want to say before we make a motion to adjourn?
Can I follow up on that?
Absolutely.
For both levels, secondary and elementary, how have we handled it when we couldn't get a substitute in for a teacher who's absent?
Have we had that occurrence?
Here or there, the normal absences or somebody's out sick, we principals find coverage. They haven't complained of not being able to cover something. And if a class for some reason doesn't run, it's not for a very long time. All right. And so, as I said, we've had several meetings, but no report of just, mass absences and scores of kids being left to their own devices. So we have not seen that.
Good.
So.
Yeah, and I can echo.
existing teachers have been helping out too on their planning and that kind of thing. And the paras have been in the room with the kids while the teachers remote as well. So I think there's many different ways that they're employing to make sure that everything is covered.
Yeah, and I can just report at the elementary level that the building administrators have been really creative and utilizing some strategies, some that they used in the past. But again, I must commend our faculty and staff and administration for really coming together as a team to make sure all the classrooms are covered. So it's been relatively smooth.
Okay, thank you very much. That's what I wanted to know.
Right.
Thank
And
you.
I would add something to that, to what Dr. Andre just said. In some instances, if the teacher is absent, let's say they were in session, like they were in the building, then they go remote. So there's some missing out. So.
Is there anything anybody else wants to say?
Dr. McKinney wants to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't see him. Dr. McKinney.
Thank you, Mrs. Ziem. I just want to add that under the next phase of vaccinations, full and part-time staff, including substitute teachers and student teachers, are all eligible to get vaccinated. So if you have people out there that have been hesitant to substitute, they can contact the district and sign up for a vaccination coming soon.
That's a good plug. Maybe, well, you never know who's listening and who might say, oh, that's me, I can do that, and come down and do it. So that's why communication is so wonderful. Anything else before do I hear a motion then?
I have one other comment, and I
Okay,
got it. My daughter forwarded email from the school district about my grandson, and I want to thank them.
oh,
Okay, that was really nice, and she's in tears for their comments. So
oh. That's what I said, that our greatest strength is our staff. That's always been the case. I have to say, I've learned to love a lot of those teachers for the sacrifices that they make, and they make them, they're quiet heroes. They don't have to be patted on the back. They do it because they love the kids, and that's makes it even greater. Having said that, do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Did you make a motion to?
Yes.
I second it.
All those in favor? I think it's easier just to say aye, right?
You have to call
Okay.
us one by one.
Gloria,
Yes.
Mrs. Oden,
Yes.
and Mrs. Ziem, yes. The meeting is adjourned.